Good evening. I will speak about different things today. I'll start a little bit about the previous parasha and then about the next parasha, a few words. And then at the end of this lecture, I would like to speak about what are the conditions for people to sit and learn Kaballah. Since we find today that it became a new fashion, that everywhere you go you hear Kaballah, Kaballah, Kaballah. It really drives me crazy to see how much stupidity there is in this world, that people who do not know Aleph Bet of Judaism and behave like the most wicked people on earth, coming to do the holiest things in all the upper worlds and the lowest world. These people, not only that they're not doing anything productive, they're actually making a huge damage to the Jewish nation and to the world. We're going to learn, based on the biggest Kabbalists in history, what are the conditions that they wrote to their students that a person has to meet, what are the criteria before he can start the first step in Kabbalah. And then we're going to see the big bluff, what called today Kaballah or Kabbalah Center or all these internet websites that promise all kinds of things based on Kabbalah. That's later. Last parasha, we found something very interesting in a parasha. I don't know if you pay attention to it or not. We found that Balak, the king of Moab, sent some messengers to the prophet of the Goyim, Bilam. Bilam is the prophet of the Goyim. The same thing the Jews have Moshe. Moshe had huge abilities, as we saw throughout the Torah. He was able to make magics and to speak to God and to know certain things that ordinary people do not know. Hashem gave almost an equal power to somebody called Bilam as a prophet of the Goyim, for the Goyim never to come and claim that there's no free choice. It's not fair, it's not balanced. So the same thing, Moshe could speak to Hashem. You saw that Bilam was able to communicate with Hashem as a prophet of the Goyim. God came to him, he told him what to do. Also, the Gemara in Masechet Brachot teaching us that there's a one drop of a second every day, every 24 hours, that there is called the Midat Adin. The judgment of Hashem is very strong at that moment. And if somebody knows how to curse exactly in that second, then, God forbid, the curse is effective and it can make a damage. Even though in general you should know that every person who cares somebody else, the chance that the curse will come on his own kids and on himself is much greater than it will come on the person that he cares. We found it in the Gemara that King David cursed Yoav, and all the curses came on him, on his children. And we found that it's always like that when a person comes to curse others, most likely it's affecting him first. Also, when they do Pulsa Denura, it's a special curse according to Kabbalah. Sometimes it goes back on the people who do it for different reasons. I don't have time to explain right now. Just that you know that it's not such a good thing to do in general. Even if the person deserves it, you gotta stay away from these kind of things. We find something very interesting in the last parasha. In the beginning, we see that they coming to pay Bilam a fortunate amount of money for him to curse the nation of Israel. After they saw the miracles that God made to the nation of Israel, they came out of Egypt, they win all the wars. It's very interesting. Instead of learning Musar and see if God loves them so much, and He released them from the biggest empire in the world, which is Egypt. The Egyptians is the biggest country in the world at that time. And He destroyed Egypt for them. And then all the countries who comes to fight, all the countries who come to fight against them, they're all falling and bowing down to them, and they lose the war. Instead of also reaching for peace and letting them pass through and avoiding a war, they hiring a prophet of the Goyim to come curse the nation of Israel. Just show you how the mind of a people sometimes can be. Nobody is surrendering. He goes with his head into the wall. A clever person should have learned a lekach, musar. What's going on? Where am I putting myself? I bury myself with my own hands? But yet they're willing to spend a fortune for Bilam. Maybe his curse will help, and look what they do. They send a messenger a few times. But that's not what I wanted to highlight. The most important thing of last parasha is that we found a very interesting concept in life. The Gemara teaching us that since everybody here has a choice to do good or bad according to his choices, the Gemara says, בדרך שאדם רוצה ללך מוליכים אותו. In a path that a person chooses to walk, God is walking him through. Whether it's good, whether it's bad, is 100% the choice of a person. As the Rambam wrote, nothing is affecting you to go to a negative or positive side. It's 100% your decision. Don't ever think what the fools of the Gentiles and the fools of the nation of Israel are claiming, that the future of the person is pre-decided for him, is determined, and a person has no control in it. That's what the Muslims claims. The Greeks wanted to say that God doesn't know the future, and because of that we have a free choice, because if he knows the future it's impossible. The Muslims say no, everything is decided in advance, you're just a robot, you follow, everything is min Allah, everything is from God's, and therefore we are not really choosing. I'm curious why they have jails in that case and judges in the Arab countries, because based on their belief in a Quran, they should release all the people. It's not their fault, they're robots. Hashem is moving them with his remote control. They shouldn't be subject to punishment. They say one thing and obviously do the opposite, but we know that we have 100% a choice. The only people who do not have 100% free choice are kings and leaders. When it comes to their own life, they have 100% choice to do what to steal, not to steal, to help, to be a good husband, to be a good father, to be a devoted person. That's 100% in their hand. But when it comes to general decisions that's going to affect millions, like going into a war, occupy a land, giving back a land, taking people out of their homes in general, etc. And so in that case, God has the right to interfere and overrule the decisions of the leaders. That's why the Gemara says, Lev melachim veroznim beyad Hashem. The heart of the kings and the leaders are in the hand of God, which means if he doesn't want this leader to go into a war, he will prevent it. If he wants him to go into a war and to lose in a war, he also will make it happen one way or the other. So this is it. This is the concept how it works. Now we will see Bilam. Bilam wants to go and make a lot of money. It's very good. It's like killing two birds with one stone. First, he wasn't a Jew lover to begin with. Second, not only you're going to do something that you love so much, you're going to make a fortune for it. What could be better for him, for this guy? To curse the nation of Israel, to put his ayn around them, to put his curse on them, and to get millions for it? Couldn't be better. But then we see that Hashem comes and says, don't dare to go with them. Later, he sees that he wants to go so bad. He says, okay, you can go with them, but make sure you do not say anything unless if I give you permission to say. First question, his first opinion was, do not go with them. Don't cooperate with them. Since when God becomes like a human being that changes his mind with some pressure? The parents, when the kids want candy, first time they come and say, give me candy, say, no, you ate enough candy this week. Then he begins to cry a little bit, oh, last one, okay, so okay, no, I'll give you last one. Yeah, with people, it's fine. With Hashem, let me go, Hashem, let me go curse your children, let me go, what's going on here? And then he said, okay, you can go, but don't say anything unless if I tell you. So we'll learn from here something very interesting. First, the opinion of Hashem was for him not to go. But since he's anxious to go, Hashem said, okay, you can go. You choose to go, you can go. It's already a big problem for you that you want to go. You should have known to tell them right away, no, I will never dare to do such a thing. But you want to go, I'll let you go. But what to say and what to curse, that's already a different story. Here I will interfere with what you want to do. Why? Because that's my whole nation. It's not your decision about your own life. You want to go and kill yourself, you want to go and steal, you want to go and make a sin, be a Mechalel Shabbos, it's your choice, and you are subject to penalty later on. But to affect others, the other people needs to deserve it first before your mission will be successful. And if they don't deserve it, if you go to kill somebody, If he does not deserve it, you will never be successful, no matter how talented you are. Even if the best murderer in the world and you aim from miles away, when it comes to that individual, either the gun will not shoot, the police will pass by, a minute before you shoot him, that person will faint and you miss. There's many ways to interfere with your choice. Why? Because it comes to other people. The next parasha, it's scary, really, really scary. We find that the leader, Zimri ben Salu,
how come in Balak was a Sonei Israel? Why is the point on his name?
Why is it?
Why is it the name Parshat Balak? If he's a Sonei Israel, why did we put him in the Torah?
Good question. Very good question. Usually they have to call...
Jethro was the father-in-law.
No. They have to name the parasha after a positive thing. Very interesting name. We have to check why. Because usually when they finally call the parasha in a name, they try to find a positive name for the parasha, not to call it after such a wicked person. Interesting. Okay, so anyway, like I said, the next parasha, we find something very, very scary. Pinchas is killing a Jew, a chief rabbi of a whole tribe, that is going to make a big sin. He's going to make a big sin. He takes a non-Jewish woman into his house. Moshe Rabbeinu is frozen. Everybody around him are frozen. The nation of Israel are crying outside. First, it shows you what level they were. Today, more than half of the Jews in the world, not only taking a Goya to their house for one time, they marry them and live with them around, and they bring them to Jewish Leila Seder with their relatives, and instead of killing them, what do? Kiss their feet. Thank you for coming. Thank you for giving us the pleasure to serve your Goya. Thank you very much. And Shabbat in my table with my kids, the yeshiva guys that sits with their black hats, you and your Christine, even though Hashem says it's not allowed. Thank you very much for giving us the honor, uncle. And if he gives them some help, financial, they make her Sarah Imenu if it's necessary. You know? Somebody just asked me now, how did the rabbi agree to make such weddings? It's really interesting.
Which rabbi?
The rabbis who make these marriages with these fake converts. Real converts, I always say, they are in the highest level. There's no discrimination. If it's real converts, they did it for the truth before the marriage, nothing to do with the marriage. They first converted for the truth. Now they met a Jew, they want to get married. Not only there's no problem, it's very interesting, very nice. You have to do everything to help this convert to get married in a comfortable situation, okay, that's fine. We're not talking about these good ones, the good real converts. With them there's no problem whatsoever. The problem that we have, that we find thousands every year, thousands of fake converts. Basketball players, soccer players, they want citizenship in Israel. All these 800,000 non-Jewish Russians that came 15 years ago to Israel, 80% of them are not Jewish, and they want to get a citizenship, and a part of it is to convert, but everybody sees that they're going to convert, and most of them don't keep Shabbat, don't keep mitzvot, so what's the conversion is for? To make other Jews in a generation later marry them and lose his eternity because of that? Because his children will not be Jewish. The question is, he asked me, who is really more guilty? The Jew who brought Christine with, to fake a conversion, to marry him, or the rabbi that will cooperate with that because he made a few $100 in a chuppah that they paid him? Who is going to pay the price?
The rabbi.
Obviously both of them are guilty, but the question is, who is more guilty? It's a good question. Who is really more guilty? Because somebody who helps them to do it, in a way, is not as bad as someone who makes the sin, right? If I drive a murderer to murder somebody and he murdered, my punishment in the Torah is not like his. I was only the driver. With or without me, he would murder, right? He would get a different driver. But still, I'm subject to a serious penalty. It's a hard question. I don't want to answer it. But anyway, we'll continue. Only one thing we have to learn from this parasha. Pinchas went and killed a chief rabbi of a tribe, one of the most important people in the nation, with no mercy whatsoever, him and her together. You may think, without a trial, without judging him first, who has permission to kill him, we find from here something very scary, mamash scary. If you really understand the entire concept of the Torah, that's probably the first time and the last time you're going to find such a thing. That a Jew that is jealous to God and is in a very high level. What does it mean, jealous to God? Not jealous to his honor and respect. Most of the people, they fake that they're jealous to God because it's all about their honor and ego. Jealous to God means when you see a Jewish woman walks not modest in the street, your heart is burning on fire. Jealous to God is that you know that in an hour from now a mixed wedding will start somewhere here. That's called jealous to God, that it's burning you. You cannot sleep at night. You're upset all night. Why? Jews are going to make scenes somewhere. This is called jealous to God. How many people are in this level, in this generation? Maybe nobody.
Zealot is the word.
Zealot. Not jealous, zealot.
Zealot.
Kanai.
Yeah.
What's the right word for it?
Zealot.
Zealot?
Zealot, not jealous.
Zealot sounds like Yiddish. Zealot.
Z-E-A-L-O-T.
Z-E-A-L-O-T. Zealot. Zealot to Hashem. So when zealot to Hashem means it bothers him to see people are going to make sins. You know, I don't know, 70 years ago, 60 years ago, the Satmar Rebbe, the founder of the whole Chassidut of Satmar, heard that it's going to be in Hungary the first mixed wedding. First mixed wedding. Since he was zealot to Hashem, it bothers him very much that something like this is about to happen, even though he was the richest guy in Hungary, a very big businessman, an industrial person that owns a big factory with machines and many employees. So he went to stand by the entrance. He said, if Jews are going to make such a scene, I'm going to be there to demonstrate against it, and I'm going to make their scene not as sweet as they plan. I'm going to ruin their plans. Whatever it takes, I'm going to go there. So he went there, and everybody who came there, he was standing by the gate and say, shame on you, how you participate in such a thing, breaking the fence, breaking the laws, the Jewish laws. So right away they call up the owner of this big party, and he came out and he said, what are you doing here? You're not invited here. We didn't do it for people like you. Let us do whatever we want. He said, no, it's not about invited or not. A Jew has an obligation to prevent these sins, and I'm here to do what I can. So he says to him, if you're not going to live on your own, I'll make you live. You know, no respect, no nothing. Just don't ruin my plans here. The rabbi says, I'm giving you a last warning. I suggest that you stop that mixed party before it's going to be too late for you. Of course, he didn't listen. They pushed him away from there, and he said, okay, I did what I had to do. By the end of that wedding, somebody came to call the owner that they have a big problem in a factory. And they have a big order. They work around the clock, all the employees, to meet the order. And one of the major machines got stuck. It's not working, the machine. Maybe it's printing. I don't know what kind of business he had. So they call him up. 12, 1 o'clock at night after his daughter's wedding. With his tuxedo, he went directly to the factory. You know, business is business. What can he do? Business is stuck. He went in, they showed him the machine, something got stuck there, so he was trying to see. They were afraid to touch. Maybe they make a damage. Let you fix it. We don't want to be responsible. As he's playing with the machine started to work. His sleeves got caught in the wheels there, and he was pulled into the machine. The machine is grinding. He came out like a soup from the other side. Not 1 inch of meat left. It was mamash like grinding meat. You know how you grind meat in a machine? In those machines, that's how he came out. Nothing stayed from him. Not a finger, nothing. It grinded him mamash to like sand. That's how he came out. Everybody there realized with this zealot, you don't mess. With people like this, you don't mess. But even him, with all the respect, is not in the level of Pinchas. You know, Pinchas 3,300 years ago, Pinchas killed him in the middle of the act, that's the only way you're allowed to kill. In the middle of, if he stopped, already you cannot touch him. You have to leave it to the Beis Din to decide what to do with him. But if it's in the middle of the act, he killed them, and not only is not a murderer, Hashem say, I'm sending him peace and blessing, and he's tzaddik, and I'm going to reward him and his descendants for eternity. Today nobody can do it. Don't get the wrong ideas here. But the reason I'm only highlighting this part of the parasha is only for one reason. For the people who are married to non-Jews, or about to marry them, or dating them, or do whatever they do with them, just to remember, yes, me and him and everybody else here don't have the power to do anything to them. But what did Hashem say that they deserve to get? Execution on the spot. That's what they deserve. They don't get it, yes or no, it's not so relevant right now. Because Hashem in the end has patience and everybody gets sooner or later what they deserve. Nobody can escape from it. But just the fact that a person is about to do it, knowing that Hashem say to somebody who killed a Jew, an important person, because of that sin, 5-minute sin, he killed him with no mercy, and Hashem say, bless you for doing the right thing. This is what Hashem think about a Jew that does such a thing. Needless to say, guys that live 10 years, 15 years with her every day, Hashem Yirachem. Where are they going to correct this? Well, yeah, it's almost impossible. Almost impossible. Few other things here. We should know one thing, that when a tragedy comes to town, what are the reasons for the tragedies that they're coming to a town that is mixed with religious Jews and secular Jews? Of course, it's very easy to blame the secular Jews, that it's all because of them. Today, it's not so simple to blame them, because many religious people are just as bad as them. You know, either they're faking, or they don't have faith in God. How do you know if a person is really tzaddik? First thing in this generation that you have to check is money, and his personality, how he behaves. For instance, the Gemara says, Adam nimdad bekoso, kiso vekaaso. Koso means his drink, the way he drinks, how he drinks, how he behaves. That's called manners. Kiso means money, how he behaves when someone owes him a little money, when he's a little bit late on a payment, he's broke, he doesn't have to return. You know, right now he cannot return, or if a poor person needs help, or yeshiva needs donation, or other Jew needs his help. That's how you check if he's a tzaddik or not, or he's an egoistic person. And kaaso is anger. Why anger? Because somebody who is angry is like worshipping an idol. He doesn't believe in Hashem at all. If you get angry at every little thing, sometimes it's mitzvah to get angry. For instance, if your children are going off the way, you cannot be too nice to them. You have to be strict with them. Rambam writes, ma'amit pnei koes. Be angry, but not really from the heart, from the outside only. Why? To wake them up, not to continue in their bad ways. But in general, we see today that many people are angry in traffic, the way they drive, in the buildings, with neighbors, in a shul. You hear that sometimes in shul people are fighting. When I was now in Europe, I just came back from Belgium. It was a weekend that people came from Germany, from France, from England, from Switzerland. Single guys and single girls came from all over Europe. And where I was, in Antwerp, there is a religious ghetto, a religious area. Then some yeshivot, some synagogues, mostly Ashkenazim. And one guy was telling me there's a problem. To some of the shuls I can go, some of the shuls I cannot go. I say, why? It's close, it's nearby, without mentioning names. He said, yeah, I went there a few times, there's fighting there. People are fighting. In the middle of Shabbat, people come to pray to Hashem. Can you believe such a thing? They're fighting? Is it possible to think such a thing? Well, a person fight on the street. No, he has bad personality. Inside the house of Hashem, you come to fight? The Torah says if a Jew pick up his hand to beat up his friend and did not touch him in the end, he regret. He just went like this and did not touch him. Is already 100% wicked. Imagine if he hit him, there's nothing to talk about. Just go like this. ולרשע אמר השם למה תכה רעך. Lama take? Why are you going to hit your friend? He didn't hit him yet. Hashem already named him Rasha. Ve'la amar Hashem. And Hashem said to the wicked Jew, why are you going to hit your friend? Before he touched him, he's already wicked. Not after. After Hashem Yirachem. So the Gemara says, Amar Rebbe, אין פורענות באה לעולם אלא בגלל עמי ארצות. When tragedies are happening in Jewish areas, in the world in general, where the Jews are, who are the ones to blame? The secular ones, those who do not keep the mitzvot. And of course the fake ones, those who have yarmulke, it's $2, a beard is for free. To look religious, today it's less than a slice of pizza. It's no problem. You know, if you have a sombrero, another $100. No, beseder, so you dedicate a little bit to look like a good fake, you know. So those in Shamayim, they are considered seculars. Hashem is not impressed by the size of the beard or the size of the hat or, you know, or what faces he make when he prays in a shul to pretend that he's a big tzaddik. This is only working on foolish people here. You know, today I want to tell you something. I don't know whose fault it is, the rabbi's fault or the people's fault. There's a lot of fakers today. Everybody knows it. By now everybody knows it. And I speak about it a lot. Finally, maybe people will open their eyes. You're going to be very careful today. But whose fault it is that there's so many fakers? I always happen to think that the fakers are big crooks and they're making all these shows pretending that they're holy rabbis to get people to follow them, to listen to them, that they want to control them and they want to get their money out, which is the main goal usually. Just yesterday somebody went to jail for taking $36,000 from a member of the congregation. I'm surprised that the court judged him for such a thing. I know hundreds of cases like this of crooks who steal money from the people in their community. Nobody does anything to them. But the court in New York sent him to 3 years in prison for taking money to make a Sefer Torah and never deliver. Can you believe it? Finally there's some power here to do such a thing. But besides the point, I don't know whose fault it is. Sometimes a person that starts as a kosher Rebbe, in the beginning is kosher, after 5 years you find out that he became a faker. He makes himself like a holy Kabbalist and special. Why? Because the only way to make people follow you in this phony generation is to pretend that you're holy. That's the only way they will accept you and give you respect. And they will support your cause. If you come as a non-faker, if your beard is not all the way to the floor, and you're not pretending that you know bad names, and pretending that you see Eliyahu Hanavi every day, and people standing online all day, and you have 2 gabbaim standing by the door, and they don't let you in, and they pretend that it's tough to get, he cannot see you today, call me tomorrow, I cannot answer today, you have to wait 2 months online until he's going to accept you, and when he accepts you, he closes his eyes, he already know who you are, because your friend, the fool that sent you, already told him everything about you. That's the only way it works. So I'm not sure anymore whose fault it is. You know, sometimes it's like a rich person is begging the thief, come to me. How is he begging him? He puts the nicest car in the driveway. He puts 2 big lions in the front of the house to make his house look like a palace. His wife, everywhere she goes, tons of diamonds. And then he's surprised, wow, the thieves came to me in the middle of the night. Of course they come. You left them no choice. You know, one time a gabbai in a shul here, who are the biggest crook and thief in town, is praying in the middle of the week. He opens up the ark and holds the Torah with tears and cry to Hashem. When the gabbai cleaned the shul, gabbai is curious to go closer to hear what this crook has to pray to Hashem for. Maybe he finally decided to make tshuva. So this is his words. Hashem, I want you to give me Ruach HaKodesh. Please give me a holy vision. So the gabbai is going on fire, you know. You want holy vision? First you pray to be a human being. You're worse than a dog. You want Ruach HaKodesh? The gabbai is angry, but he's holding himself. Then after a few minutes he just couldn't wait anymore. He went to him and said, excuse me, you chutzpan, you chutzpah, chatzuf. You have the nerve to ask for Ruach HaKodesh after you hit half of the members of this town, you stole, you cheat, you fake, you took money, you never returned, you sold the fake merchandise, all the things that the crook does. Now you want Ruach HaKodesh? So the thief got nervous, put him on the spot like this. He didn't know he's there. But after the Gabbai relaxed a little bit, so he said to him, listen, but I'm very curious to know, how do you have the nerve? And what exactly are you going to do with the Holy Vision? Since Torah you don't learn, Shabbos you don't keep, all you do is robbing people, what exactly you need a robbing Ruach HaKodesh? So he said to the Gabbai, that's exactly the point. When I go to people's houses in the middle of the night and I break in, it takes me a long time to find where they put their gold and jewelry. I want that Hashem will give me a holy vision that as soon as I walk to the house, I know in which drawer, in which mattress he hides all his money. Like this, I'll go quickly, I take it and I leave. Why? Right now it takes me too long. By the time I make noise, the owner of the house get up with a knife, he comes to me, then I'm forced to kill him. I don't want to be a murderer, I only want to be a thief. So I'm asking Hashem, help me not to be a murderer, give me Ruach HaKodesh that it will be easier for me to steal. So what's the point of this story? It sounds like a joke, but there's a secret inside that story, a strong message. What's the message? A person can be a great believer in Hashem, can cry to Hashem with tears, can come, take away his time in the middle of the day, come and hug the Torah with tears and beg Hashem. For what? To help him to be more wicked. You got the point? If you already believe in Hashem, you believe that Hashem listens to the prayers, you believe in Ruach HaKodesh, in a vision, why don't you become a normal person, a kosher person? Instead of praying to become stronger in your crimes, what's going on here? This is what's going on here. That a person is doing everything, but it's going to be my way, Hashem. Not your way, my way. I believe, but it's still going to be my way. I will dress what I want to wear. That's what I want to wear. You're not telling me, well, all due respect, Hashem, I'm listening to you, but we're in the 21st century. You have to understand us. It's not so, it's too boring. I have a lot of girls that when they ask me to find them shidduch, almost all of them repeat the same nonsense. What did they say? But I want to have fun. I'm a fun girl. I ask, what does it mean to have fun? I want to go on a trip, I want to go here. Some of them even say, I want to go to the theater. She wants to go to the theater. No. How can I find her shidduch? I want to find her a guy that is finally a kosher person. She's going to take him to the theater to watch all these new things that comes out. What's going to happen a month later? He won't be able to look at the Gemara. It's going to be my fault for making such a match. So Rabbi say, En poranut ba'al ha'olam, ela poranut. Tragedies comes because of those ignorant who don't learn Torah and make sins. What we call today secular. So they ask Rabbi, the students of Rabbi say, how can we prove such a thing? They claim that we, the religious people, we are bad. We claim they are bad. We have the Torah. Some of them even admit that the Torah is the word of Hashem. But some parts of the Torah they don't want to address. It's not for me. The Torah say it. But listen to what happened. Maaseh ve'itilu al anshe Tveria, in the time of Rabbi, 2,000 years ago, the king of the Romans in Israel, the controller, wanted to have a pearl necklace or diamonds necklace, a very expensive necklace. So he said to his servants, he says to them, go to the Jews and say it's about time to be faithful. They have to buy me my birthday gift and make sure it's a nice, expensive jewel. So now, the rabbis, there are many rabbis and scholars who learn Torah. So right away, when Rabbi heard that everybody has to chip in to buy a jewel to that Caesar over there, So they came to Rabbi to decide how to address all the people to give, to contribute, to buy the jewel to the Roman king. Right, the way Rabbi says, every person who sits and learns Torah is dismissed from obligation to buy a jewel to the king of the Romans in Israel. So the situation in Israel was that about half of the people in Tiberia were learning Torah and half were not. So the people who do not learn Torah, they came right away to Rabbi to demonstrate. They say, Rabbi, it's not fair. Why the rabbis and the scholars don't have to pay? We have to pay for all the expenses? So he told them, yes, that's my decision. He was the president. He said, that's my decision. The religious people who sit and learn Torah do not have to pay for that jewel. Only all of you have to pay. So they say to him, we will run out of the town. We will leave Tiberia tomorrow morning. It was an expensive jewel, you know. Rabbi said, you can go, no problem. You're not scaring anyone. Leave. It's not so easy to leave your home overnight. Today it's almost impossible overnight to leave your home. But in the old days, what did a person have? A little wood house? A donkey? What did he have? He didn't have televisions, heavy furnitures, air conditioned, this. They didn't have all that. You want to move, you put your children on a carriage with a horse. In 4 or 5 hours, 6 hours, you put, I don't know if you have a rug, you put it in, you put some food in and finished. How long it takes to move? You don't need what you have today, big semi-trailers, you know, massive things. He didn't have. He didn't have to make a change, to disconnect the phones, to change the credit card address. Life was a lot simple, much more simple. Anyway, half of them escaped Tiberia. Half of them. The other half who stayed there, now they send a message to the Roman king. They say half of the people of Tiberia left town because they have to buy you a jewel. So he say, I don't care. Let the half that remain pay for the jewel. So now those who stay have to pay double. Not only before they have to pay double, now they have to pay 4 times. They have to pay for half of the rabbis, and now for the quarter of these people who are escaped. So they're paying for the whole thing. So they come to Rabbi and say, we're going to run. What does it mean? We're going to pay for those who ran? We didn't make a big deal when you said that we have to pay for the rabbis. But now we have to pay for the secular people who ran, or for those people who are not learning Torah? No. We're going to leave Tiberia. So Rabbi told them, no problem. Leave tomorrow morning. You know, you're not scaring anyone. So they say, but if we're going to leave, who's going to pay? You say that the scholars they're not paying. It's not my problem. You want to run, you're entitled to run. Nobody's holding you. Run. The next day, all of them made one hand and they all left town. 6 hours after they left town, a messenger came on a horse. He said, the king today is in a good mood, and he decided to cancel the decree. He doesn't need a necklace from the Jew. So the Rabbi told to them, did you see what I'm always telling you? All the tragedies come to the world from people who go against Hashem. That's what's going on. That's called Oy la Rasha ve'oy le'shcheno. Oy to the wicked and oy to his neighbor. Why? If you go to live in Las Vegas and your neighbors are doing what they do over there, I don't have to tell you in details what's going on there, or in other parts, San Francisco or other places, or in a village in Manhattan, and you are righteous, but everybody around you does what they do, when Hashem will destroy them, you will be destroyed with them 100%. Then you say, but it's not fair. I wasn't like them. I walked 5 miles to shul every Shabbos. And Hashem will answer, the fact that you had the nerve to live with such despicable people and it didn't bother you, it shows that you're nothing better than them. Why? Because a righteous person has to be allergic to a wicked Jew. Has to be allergic. How do I know? Look at King David, Tehillim. Read Tehillim. Every chapter in Tehillim, what David HaMelech repeats, Mesanecha Hashem esna. I cannot stand your haters, Hashem. What was David praying for? The entire Tehillim. Half of the Tehillim is praying to get rid of all the evilness, all the wicked people. What did Rabbi Meir Baal HaNes say? He was praying for all these wicked people to disappear from their world. So his wife, Bruria, which was a big Rebbitzin, she knew a lot of Torah, she said to him, don't pray for them to die. Pray for their sins to die, that they'll make tshuva, they'll make repentance. And she told him from the pasuk, Itamu chataim min haaretz. She told him, it didn't say in the pasuk, Itamu chot'im min haaretz. Itamu means finished. The pasuk, the verse say that the sins will disappear from the earth. It didn't say the sinners. That's why she told him, pray for them to make tshuva. And he did, and they did become religious. But that was Rabbi Meir. Rabbi Meir is a different story. We can pray, we do as much as we can, and that's a different story. If we're going to be successful or not, we will see. Then, one Kohen, this is Midrash Tanchuma in Parashat Tazria, one Kohen used to see negaim, leprosy, skin sicknesses. Skin sicknesses come for people who speak Lashon Hara. Today it's a different story. In the old days, when a person had tzaras, leprosy, there was a clear sign that he spoke Lashon Hara. Even one sentence is enough. You wake up the next day, it's all your clothes, it's in the house. First it starts in the house, it's a warning, then if you don't get the message, then it goes on the body. And then you need to be isolated for a week, and then the Kohen has to check. Some scholars are kosher, some are not kosher. Who decides? The word of the Kohen. The Torah says what the Kohen says. If the Kohen say pure, it's pure. Impure, it's impure. No arguments. This Kohen saw he doesn't have parnasa. He cannot make a living, he can't pay his bills. So he told his wife, I'm going to teach you how to look at people sicknesses in their skin, negaim, and I'm going to go out of town, overseas, to make some parnasa, and then I'll return after I make some money. That's it. It's very difficult to live here, he told her. So she told, as he was teaching her, he started to teach her about the hair. And this is what he told her. He says, if you see that the hair gets dry underneath, that's a sign that the spring, the energy spring, it's like a lake. The lake of that hair dried out. Because every hair in the human's body, Hashem make a separate source of energy just for that hair alone. So if you have 10 million hairs in your head, each one of them has his own spring that sends in this oil that you have in your hair, goes inside the hair. The hair, it's like a tube. It's like a pipe. And the energy slowly are going inside. That's why when a person has long hair, it's more common by the ladies, when it goes to the end of the hair, it becomes a different color. It burns out and it crawls. The closer it is to the roots, the healthier it is. As longer it gets, it becomes from the ends drier, and then less dry and less dry until it gets to the root. It's very, very moisturized. Why? Because there's X amount of energy. You cannot go that long. If your hair goes all the way to the floor, that's it. It's like some of it is dead already. But inside the hair, it's like a tunnel. It goes inside. It's very interesting. So she told him, your ears should listen to your mouth. You just taught me how to look at the skin sicknesses, and you just told me, if you see one hair that is dry, that's a sign that the spring is dried for that hair, because Hashem made for every hair his own source of living. Hashem make a source of living for one lousy hair that nobody cares about. But He doesn't make a source of living to a Jew that sends his kids to yeshiva and he sits and learns Torah and he helps people all day. You need to go to overseas to make a living? The hair doesn't need to go anywhere to live. It comes right to them. So he told her, you got me. She changed his mind. He stayed in town, and Baruch Hashem, later the Parnasah became better. One other thing is, Hashem said that somebody who teach Torah has to teach for free. Ma ani bechinam, af atem bechinam. I gave you the Torah for free. I taught you the 10 Commandments for free. I taught you the entire Torah for 40 years through Moshe Rabbeinu for free. When you go to teach, I want you to do it for free. So, what are the people paying today? Some of the speakers, they charge money. They don't come for free. They pay them for the gas, for the tolls, for the expenses, for the things around, not for the actual hour or 2 or 10 that they teach. For everything around it. In the old days, you didn't need expenses. You walk in, you go out of your home, 5 steps, you go into the Beit Midrash, you teach people for free. They come to you. You don't have to run to them. You know, everything was close. It wasn't like today. You have to go 100 miles until you see the people. So, it's very interesting because the question is, why Hashem gave us the Torah for free? Why? For instance, diamonds are not for free. If you want to buy a little piece of diamond, you have to pay $50,000. Diamonds is more important than the Torah, that for the diamonds we're going to pay $50,000, but we get the entire Talmud, the Torah, everything for free? We'll learn everything for free? Why is it? So what is it like? 2 friends, you know, they're friends for many, many years. One of them got a sword from the king with the king's signature on it. It was signed on the sword. The guy saw that his friend got a sword from the king, he got jealous. So he went and bought the same exact sword, and he hoped that the king would sign on his sword just as he did to his friend. But the king didn't want. He lost his good mood. So now both of them has a sword. One day they decided to go overseas, to go to a different country. And obviously the sword is a very expensive sword. It costs like $10,000. So they go to the duty. His friend goes first. They take his sword out. They check silver, gold, whatever the sword is made from. They look at the sword. They say, okay, you can go free. You don't have to pay tax. No duty. Then he comes with the same exact sword. He gives them the sword. He says, you have to give us 1,000 rubles. He said, why? He said, because it costs 10,000. You have to give us 10%. Don't you know the rules? So he says, what? Discrimination? My friend just went with the same sword, no tax. So they told him, you fool. Don't you understand? Your friend have a sword with the signature of the king. It's worthless to evaluate such a thing. What's the point? It's worth fortune. It's endless. Any amount that we evaluate that sword is still not enough. It's an embarrassment to the king. If we tell him pay 1,000, and the king will find out that we evaluate the sword with his signature only 10,000, we're all going to get killed. What do you think? If we say it's worth $1 million, the king say only $1 million. If we say it's worth $1 billion, the king's going to get angry. Only $1 billion? My signature? So we don't want to mess with the king. He has to go, my friend. The signature, it's worth any amount. We don't know. We do not know. But you, it's worth 10,000. Doesn't have the signature of the king. This is what Hashem says. If you have to pay me for the Torah, what price are you going to give me? If you worked 50 billion years in the biggest job in the whole world, you make fortune, the richest guy. Somebody like that Mexican that already passed Bill Gates. What's his name? Carlos. Half of the Mexicans is Carlos.
I think he went under.
No problem. He went under? Let's agree that me and you, we can get 1% from him, will be okay. He went under. Anyway, whatever. Even you give all the money in the world for the Torah, it will be an insult. Something like this cannot be charged for. Torah cannot be evaluated in a fixed price. There's no point. It's like, what's the point? You understand? Some of the things, the value, it's endless. And one of these things is the Torah. Then, in the old days, in the generation of the Tanaim and the Amoraim, they used to say, on the Isurim, on the suffering that a person gets, they used to say, Lo hem velo scharam. We are not interested in the suffering, and we are not interested in the reward who comes for that suffering. Sounds interesting. We know that the more a person suffers, the more he is getting rewarded. The more a person suffers in this life, later on, when he goes to the next eternal life, the suffering will be a huge value. I once told you the story, no? One Jew was walking in a forest and the guy saw him and the guy was beating him up with a baseball bat. 100 times he hit him so bad, the king passed by, the Jew got lucky. The king and his soldier were riding by. So the king said, hey, what are you doing? He said, I'm beating up the Jew, what do you care? He said, what do you mean? In my country, you're beating up an innocent person? Arrest him. They take the guy to a jail in the palace. They take the Jew to the doctor of the king. So they take care of the Jew for a few days. Once the Jew felt better, the king called both of them for a trial. He asked the guy, how many times you hit him? Now, the guy was afraid to lie. He didn't know how long the king was around. So he said approximately 100 times. He said to the Jew, you confirm that he hit you about 100 times? So the Jew said, yeah, about 100 times. So he said to the guy, for every time you hit him, you have to give him $1,000. So the guy, with all the shock that he had, he cannot make a bid. He said, yes, your majesty, no problem. Tomorrow, you pay him everything. Yes, no problem. So then the Jew started to cry. So the king looks at the Jew, he said, why are you crying? I wasn't fair? He said, no, your majesty, you're more than fair. You're a great king. You're a very honest and righteous person. He said, so why are you crying? He said, if I knew while he was hitting me that every hit is $1,000, I wouldn't fight. I would go like this, faster. But before somebody will stop you. Why? It's $1,000 each time. The same thing, suffering. Everybody crying, oh, I'm desperate, I'm depressed, I can't take this anymore, I cannot make a living, I cannot do this, I didn't get married yet, my kids, the list, all the way from here to Honolulu. But in the end, it's big profit. So how come the Tanaim and the Amoraim say, nah, no suffering and not the reward? That's something we have to understand. So, I'll explain to you how it works. In our generation, everybody deserves to get suffering. Everyone. Why? We make sins. I'm talking religious people. Not religious people. Every second they breathe is a sin. Walking 5 steps in the street without thinking about Hashem, without emunah, without being grateful that you have oxygen, food, a place to work, a wife, children, you go to learn Torah. Every second of a religious person somehow connects to Hashem. He drives on the highway, he sees an accident, he begins to say, Hashem, thank you that I didn't get it. Or he prays for the people that nothing happened, or they get cured. Or if he has traffic, so he needs Hashem to help him. Hashem, find me the right way that I won't be late. The life of a believer is connects to Hashem every second. He has problems with the kids, they call from school right away. Tehillim, Hashem helps me, you know, there's nothing I can do without your help. Slowly, you see improvement in your life. And a person who doesn't live with Hashem, every second of his life is a sin in a way. Some more, some less. So here, in this generation, everybody deserves to get suffering. Everyone. So in that case, we cannot say we don't want them and we don't want the reward. We are guilty. What is it like? I'll tell you a story. One minister called the person in charge of the jails in a certain town. He told him, tomorrow I'm coming to the jail to inspect the place. That's his job. He goes from one jail to another. So the person that is in charge of the jail went crazy. Why? The jail is empty. Nobody is in jail. You know, he fell on a week that people were good. Nobody is in jail right now. So right away he said, well, if he comes and see the jail is empty, what's the first thing is going to go into his mind? That I released all of them for bribe. Cannot be there's no criminals in jail. Has to be somebody. So they will suspect me that I released them because they paid me bribe. So what do I have to do to get saved? I have to make the jail full. But how will I fill up the jail? Let me go and pick up all the homeless people, all the poor people in the street, give each one of them $200-300 to be 3 days in jail. I'll tell them, don't worry, no punishments, no nothing. You watch your sports, your everything, don't worry. So you got all the poor people, of course, $300 to be in jail 3 days is better. We're freezing here in the street. Let us be there all the time for $100 a day. But one poor guy said, no, I'm not interested to go to jail. So he said, why? He said, Lo em velo scharam. I'm not interested in the suffering and I'm not interested in your reward for it. Leave me alone. A year later, they caught that poor guy that he made a real crime. So now the police came to arrest him. They put handcuffs on his hand and they said, now you're going to jail. He said, no, I'm not interested. I'm not interested in a jail, and I'm not interested in the reward of the jail. So the policeman told him, you fool. Now we're not asking you if you're interested. There's no reward. Now it's a punishment. This is the difference between us and the Tanaim 2,000 years ago. They knew that they clean 100%. You see from the Talmud, when they missed a coin, they were depressed. Why? Because they knew that's a sign that I made the first sin. Otherwise, how do I have all this punishment? All of a sudden, I'm clean. That means if God punished me, I made a sin. We do not know where to start. If you have to write your list, you start from now. When you be 700 years old, maybe you finish 1% of your sin. All of us. Age 700 will finish. How many sin, how many lies, laziness, no praying. Finally you come to shul, you sit like a statue. Say something. Sit like this. Say, the father begged from the son. Say something. Pray, you're already sitting in front of... Read the words. What do you know? What can you do? No, what's going on? Finally we want to do the right thing. We're not doing the right thing. So bottom line, the difference between us and them is we deserve the suffering. That's why we're not in a position to say, no, thank you. Not them and not the reward. It's not the reward, it's cleaning your sins away. For them, why Hashem gives righteous people suffering? To duplicate the reward, to help the generation. That's what the Shir HaShirim says. Dodi arad legano lilkot shoshanim. HaKadosh Baruch Hu came to the desert and he picked up one rose from millions of thorns all over, or dry bushes. All of a sudden one rose, Hashem picked it up. Why? To save thousands from death. One righteous goes, it saves 10,000, 20,000, 50,000. Because on a scale, one righteous Jew that makes a lot of mitzvot every day, learns Torah, keeps Shabbat, puts tefillin, gives tzedakah, honest, work against his desires, watch his eyes, etc., etc. He can be equal like 10,000 seculars that make one mitzvah a week. What's the mitzvah he made a week? He heard the bracha, he say amen. No, mitzvah, he made one mitzvah a week. In his bar mitzvah, he put tefillin, 2 mitzvot. 2 mitzvot. What else? Maybe he walked through someone's car and he heard 5 seconds divrei Torah. No, so it's another 10 mitzvot. Add everything he did in his life, how many mitzvot he has? Take 10,000 Jews, God forbid they have a decree on them. Hashem say, wait, give them chance to make tshuva. Let's take one that equal like 10,000. Let's block the mouth of the Satan. That's exactly how it works. It's not a fairy tale. It's 100% legit. Instead of taking 10,000 children that are secular and live like goyim, Hashem takes one righteous person. It's a big tragedy because the amount of mitzvot that he has is huge, and the Satan relax. So okay, I have nothing to say. He's equal like 10,000. And that's what happens sometimes. That's called Dodi Arad Dodi. It's HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's what Shir HaShirim says. As I promised in the beginning of the lecture, for the next 10 minutes, I would like to speak about the conditions of a scholar that deserved to start learning Kabbalah. Since today the world became a zoo, a spiritual zoo. Everyone is a different animal. One guy is a tiger, one guy is a lion, one guy is a dog, one guy is a peacock. Depends. Everybody has his own way. Everybody thinks he's the holiest in the world. And we have a lot of fakers that made it into a big money machine. Kabbalah, it's in style. Thousands of goyim pay fortune to these fakers that they think they're teaching them Kabbalah, if they do. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Amevin Yavin, we say it in Hebrew. If you understand, it's good. If you don't understand, that means this lecture is not for you. You're okay. If you understand what I'm talking about, open your eyes, because you may be their next victim of these people. Okay, so this is it. Who wrote it? The student of the biggest Kabbalist since Kabbalah started. The founder of Kabbalah, the Ari HaKadosh, 500 years ago in Tzfat. Everything we know from the Ari came from Rabbi Chaim Vital. He's buried in Syria. Everything we know, Ari himself did not write anything. He was talking and his student was writing everything. Everything you have in a yeshivot, from the Ari, all the Kabbalah came from this student, Rabbi Chaim Vital. Ari told him, I came to the world to pass all the Kabbalah to you. It was special. He had the merit. This is what he writes. Let's see if Esther and her friends in Hollywood, they are meeting the criteria of learning Kabbalah. You know what? Let's not talk about them. Let's talk about us, me, you, all the religious people who sit here in the crowd. Are we deserve to touch Kabbalah? Let's see. We have to follow the truth, the book, not what we feel, not our hearts. First rule. In order for a person to start learning Kabbalah, he must be extremely careful with all the positive mitzvot and all the negative mitzvot from the Torah and all the mitzvot of the rabbis, the Rabbanan. Not to violate even one of them. So if 613 commandments, 248 positive, 365 restriction, plus hundreds of restrictions from Chazal, from the sages, he has to make sure that he is extremely careful never to miss one of them, ever. Okay? Right away, all these fakers all went to the garbage. You know why? Not only they're not careful to keep, they make sins on purpose every minute of their life. I don't have to tell you their lifestyle, no? I'm not making anything up. Go and check what's going on in their life. All these Kabbalah learners. Rule number 2, to make sure that when he leaves this world, his soul will be 100% corrected and pure, clean from all the spiritual stain, from every possible sin. 100% clean. Tshuva, 100%, not 50, not 40%, 100%. Third rule, should always be extremely careful never to be angry even 1 hour in his life. Never to be angry ever. Even when his kids do things against the Torah, not to fall into the trap of anger. No. The fourth one, has to be extremely careful from any pride. Not to have any ego, not to search for any honor, any respect, any special treatment from any person on earth. To feel that is dust in the wind, nothing. Do you know one person like this today? Where do you find them? Show me. The fifth one, in every problems that he have in his life, right away to search for the sin that caused it and to make tshuva about it. Not to feel, coincidence, bad luck, today it's me, tomorrow it's somebody else, this is the way the world is. To go to the mikveh every time he needs. He didn't say every day. He didn't say every day. He said, be'et atzorech lo. When he was with his wife, or he became impure for certain reason, then he has to go. When he is together with his wife in intimate relationship, not to think about the physical pleasure, to think about the mitzvah and the holy things according to the Kabbalah, what it is. What's the secret of this thing? That's what he has to get to this level. Not to go one night without analyzing all the things that he did in the previous day. Before he goes to sleep, today I did this right, today I did this wrong, tomorrow I have to correct it, I didn't learn enough, when I learned I didn't focus, I didn't give enough tzedakah today, I didn't, I ate maybe too much, whatever he did wrong. Not to deal too much with business, only for what he needs to survive. Nothing else, not for savings, not to be rich, not for the future, not in 20 years I want to retire in Florida and play golf, Rabbi, or take you on my yacht with me that we can relax from the tough life that we had. Oh, I have already 3 cars, it's not enough. Soon my son's going to be 17, he needs another car, so I have to work. All these excuses. To talk only holy things. And everything that he talks has to have a connection to mitzvot, not to talk about nonsense. The weather, who won the championship, what's going to be tomorrow. All this nonsense. To get up in midnight. Jewish midnight today it's 1 o'clock. Jewish midnight in the winter go as low as 11:20. Jewish midnight is depend. In the summer the day is very long, so the hour in the summer can go up to 75 minutes. But if the hour of the day is 75 minutes, the hour of the night is 45 minutes. 1 hour from the day, 1 hour from the night, always going to be 120. In the winter, the day is short, so the hour of the day is 45 minutes, the hour of the night is 75 minutes, the opposite. So, Jewish midnight today, since it's summertime, 1 o'clock. To get up in a midnight, to do tikkun chatzot, wearing a sack. You know a sack, a canvas sack, or linen sack, put ashes on his head, sit on the floor, cry for the destruction of the temple. Yesterday was the 17th of Tammuz. The walls of Jerusalem collapsed. 3 weeks later, Bet HaMikdash went on fire. Soon, in 20 days from now, we will fast on Tisha B'Av. For somebody that wants to learn Kabbalah, it's mandatory every day for him is Tisha B'Av. Not only once a year or 5 times a year to fast. Every night, לשבת on the floor, tikkun chatzot. And to start learning Torah before Alot HaShachar, before the dawn, already is busy with learning Torah. Go to the shul before sunrise, before Alot HaShachar, with the talit and tefillin already on him. When he leaves his home, and make sure he always one of the first 10, like Esther do every day. Then before he entered the shul, he has to accept every morning the mitzvah ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. You love every one of the Jewish brothers of yours exactly like you love yourself. Make sure every day he says 90 times Amen, 4 times Kedusha, 10 times Kaddish, and 100 brachot a day. Every day, abbreviation Tzadik. Tzadik, Dalet, Yud, Kuf. That's the secret of the word Tzadik. Tzadik is 90. 90 times Amen. Dalet is 4 times Kedusha, Kadosh, Kadosh, Kadosh. Standing and sitting. Yes, standing and sitting. Yud is 10 times Kaddish every day, and Kuf 100 times to make a bracha. So if you have 3 times Tfilat Shmona Esrei, it's 19 blessing in each one. 3 times 19, 57. 20 Birkot HaShachar with Birkot HaTorah, right away 77. Kriyat Shema, the blessing before, the blessing after, about 4 or 5 times bathroom. Birkat HaMazon once or twice a day. Birkat Talit and Tfilin is 2 more. Together we get to 100 with the food and the water and everything that we eat and drink. Every day at least 100 blessings. That's why in Shabbat that the prayer is shorter. We only have 7 blessings times 4 because we have Musaf. We have to make a lot of blessings about candies. To drink, water, eat candies, eat wafers, eat all kinds of things. Even 1 bite just for the bracha to get up to 100 blessings. Never to remove his intention from his tefillin on his head, not even for 1 second. Not to say to fall asleep with that or anything like that. Right? I always have to be busy with Torah, with talit and tefillin on him. Have all the special kavanot in a tefillah when he prays. When he say the name of Hashem, to feel that his body is shaking. Out of fear and respect to Hashem, not like us. Baruch Atah Hashem, where are you? What my stock is doing right now? Baruch Atah Hashem, where were you? What happened to the stock market today? Rabbi, tell me. Shh, not allowed to talk right now. I can't. Yesterday I lost too much. Did I get some of it back? Where are you? Ask him, are you in Shachrit or Mincha? Is not sure. What time is it right? I got confused when I went to Belgium. The night was 2 hours because they're 6 hours ahead. So I had to daven Arvit. I'm in a plane. The plane took off when it was still a day here. Before I realized, I see light outside. Oh, I said, wow, I don't have time to pray Arvit. You know, you're used to a night, 8 hours. All of a sudden, light. Planes go towards the light quickly. Have kavanah in every bracha, he says. Put all his efforts in learning Torah until his body breaks to pieces. And somebody like that who follows all the restrictions and the warnings of Rashbi, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, that wrote the Zohar, and his students, they made a takanon, all the instructions, and that's the conditions to start learning Kabbalah. Now I want you please to tell me, maybe I'm dreaming, maybe I'm out of this planet, I don't know. Based on what I just read, do you know one person in the world in this level? I know maybe few, I know. Yeah, there are few that I know myself. There are. It's not that there's none at all. Yeah, we have very holy, righteous Jews in Jerusalem, Bnei Brak, Tiberia. Some people that lives exactly like I just read in this generation. No exaggeration. But other than those few that you can count them on few hands, do you know any of these people who walk with a red string on their hands? Kaballah, 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 Kaballah center here, Kaballah center there, walks with his goyish girlfriend with a dog, sitting inside a Kabbalah lesson. A dog sitting inside the shul. Aikar, he gave them $100,000 donation this year, the fool. You know, and they can fool some more people to fall into their cult, into their trap. That's what's going to happen before Mashiach comes. Finally, one person wants to do something good, the Satan doesn't let. He sends you to this cult, to that cult, to this messianic cult, to that crazy cult. Yes. Sometimes people think, okay, I'm going to be a righteous Baal Tshuva. 2 months is religious. He wants to imitate his rabbi. His rabbi is 60 years religious from the day he was born. His father, the rabbi's father, grandfather, grandfather for 3,000 years are all extremely religious. He has Chut Avot. He grew up in a Haredi ghetto. And this guy, 2 months, is Shomer Shabbat. Next thing, we don't eat this, I don't do this, I don't do this, I don't sit on a chair. Why? Maybe a woman was sitting there. He's already the Kohen Gadol in Bet HaMikdash in the 21st century. That's what I see out there. You understand what's going on? I don't pray unless if I stand in the grass. Why? I'm not praying inside. All kinds of things that it's for very high level people. And people like these, that every Shabbat you follow them, I promise you, they make at least 1,000 sins every Shabbat from their ignorance. But they know they're not allowed to eat cream cake anymore. Or wafer. Ooh, don't give it to me. Don't touch these things anymore. 2 weeks ago you were, I don't want to tell you where we picked you up from. Right away. And you know what happened to these people in the end? One day they collapsed to zero. And they become worse than what they used to be before they became religious. You know why? To become religious, it's not 2 weeks after to have a long beard and be very long peot. And when you pray to put your face in a wall like you was a Tana, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. No, that's all fakes. It's all phony fakers. Don't fall into that. Or everybody pray 5, 6, 7 minutes and he pray 2 hours on the side. What for? He's thinking about his ex-girlfriend, his other one, whatever he has. Yes, tikkunim. He's speaking to Malach Gabriel, Malach Raphael. The problem is, I don't care. He can stay there for 3 hours to pray. He can stand till Shachrit. Connect Arvit and Shachrit. We open the shul in the morning. He can continue. No problem. So shouldn't be our problem. You know when the problem become ours? When we are 10 in a minyan. And he makes us wait 2 hours. Why? He has time to show us that he's a holy Tana. You understand what's going on here? People who wants to become religious, people who started to become religious, they have to build themselves in a right way. You don't become in 2 months Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. I don't care who's your rabbi and what nonsense he puts in your head. You have to build yourself in a nice way. Enough with all this fasting, enough with all these stupid things that people do. You have to build yourself as a 0. And from 0 you go to 1, and from 1 you go to 2, and from 2 you go to 3, and it takes years. It doesn't take a month. It doesn't take a year. It takes a long, long time to become tzaddik. Believe me, it's not happening in 2, 3, or 6 months. It's not. And all these people, as long as the show-off gives them satisfaction, they'll continue to do it. Once nobody will hold them anything special, they won't do it for anybody anymore, because they won't pay. It's all about getting the satisfaction to feed your ego. That's not what the Torah is. The Torah, it's not external. The Torah is real, it's internal. You understand? Hashem wants to do. You were a proud person, did you stop or no? That's what he checked you. You were stingy, did you become generous or not? You care to make other Jews close to the Torah? That's one of the signs that you love Hashem. If a person doesn't care that other Jews become religious, he doesn't call them to come to the lectures, he doesn't give them CD, he doesn't sponsor CD, he doesn't convince them to come for Shabbat to see what Shabbat is, that shows he doesn't love Hashem. What's all this nonsense? He's a holy, special person. But when it comes to save other Jews, it's not for us. We don't have time for this. We are busy with tikkunim, you know. I can invite them, I cannot. Why? They are the children of Hashem. If you don't invite them, who's going to do it? Who made you religious? Imagine if the person who made you religious were thinking the same way you think today. Nobody would become religious. They said there's few 100,000 Baalei Tshuva. How they became Baalei Tshuva? Thanks to a lot of sweat of good Jews. Some sweat and gave the money. Some sweat and make phone calls. Some sweat and send email. Some sweat who drove people to go and talk. Some sweat by organizing seminars. Some sweat by inviting people for Shabbos. Some sweat calling people to come to shul or going on the street and giving books on DVDs. If the army of Hashem will not go to war against the Satan and his power, who's going to do the job? 5 people? 5 Machzirei B'Tshuva? 5. 1 here, 1 there, 2 in Israel. They're going to do everything? One guy told Rabbi Amnon Yitzchak many years ago, we'll finish with that, Rabbi, what's the point? You come, you speak, hundreds of people coming, another night. Hey, you have 13 million secular Jews out there. How? When are you ever going to finish? One person can change the world. So he answered him a brilliant answer. I wish it was realistic. It's a brilliant answer, but in reality it doesn't work. He told him, until now, before you asked me, before I made you religious, I had to take care of all 12 million. Now you join me, I have 6 and you have 6. It's much easier. Now we make another person religious, each one of us will have 3. The next one will become religious, each one will have 1.5. In few months, every Jew has to take care of 20, 30, and that's it's over in 1 year. It's a brilliant formula. But you know why it doesn't work? Because some soldier forgot, they fell asleep. They're supposed to do it. But they went to sleep. Aikar, they don't eat cream cake. Yeah. And they pray in the rain, Baruch Hashem, on the talit, on the tefillin, on Shabbat, to feel that they're close to Hashem. You understand? The idea, Rabotai, a person has to know what is real and what is fake. What's really important and what's not important. What's important and what's not important. Today it's a salad. People are putting all their efforts in things that are not important, but when it comes to the things that are extremely important, they don't care about it. And when you tell them to do it, they don't care. But they care about other things, but they don't care about the real truth. Thank you very much. Good night.